Happy Monday. Happy Monday, and welcome to Audacity Presents. I don't know what's going on with my light there, but anyway, welcome to Audacity Presents. Another Monday has rolled around. Listen, we are like a week or so away from November, which is the holiday season. And you guys know when November comes and December comes, the year is just about over. So have you started planning for 2025, or you've just decided you're going to ride out 2024 and 2025 come what may, right? Anyway, we'll talk about that as we get closer to the end of the year. But today I was thinking, as I was preparing for the podcast last week, I'm thinking or noticing, and I've noticed this for maybe 2 or 3 years, how people are treating me different. Not different in a bad way, but in a very respectful way, of which I've always been treated with respect, but I'm noticing it more now. People coming to me for advice and wisdom. I've never considered myself a person to be a woman of wisdom, but I've noticed it the past couple of years, and more so this year. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Am I aging? Of course, we're all aging, but what I'm noticing is that as I fastly approach the age of 60, I'm not ashamed to say that, the way people are responding, especially the younger generation, the way they are responding and acting towards me, um, I'm having to adjust to that because I am getting ready to transition, if the Lord says the same, into the decade of my 60s. And what does that look like? What are people seeing about me? What are people seeing about you that has started to kind of shift in the way that people respond, react, and deal with you? Now, mind you, I am not walking around with a cane and a walker. I still think I am hip. That lets you know right there I am not hip because I use the word hip. I can't even say I know I still got it going on. All of that. All of that is aging me. But I am noticing it, and I want to be able to receive it and for God to prepare me to receive how people respond and react to me. I've had people, young ladies, call, "Hey, Miss Mary, I want to bounce something off of you. Hey, Miss Mary, would you mentor me? Hey, Miss Mary, can I call you and talk to you about this?" And of course, I have things to say, and for a long time I thought these are just my opinions, but really they are words of wisdom, things that I have learned over the years that I hope will be beneficial to others. And so today on the podcast, let's have the audacity to age. And I mean that in a good way. Let's be bold. Let's take bold risk and age, as they say, gracefully. Age gracefully. Think about that. And so I start off by asking, what's your age? Hmm. Some people get offended when asked how old they are. What I want as I approach another birthday milestone is the boldness to age with grace. I am thankful for the years that are behind me, and I've learned a lot. Yet the years in front of me, I've determined will be years of intentionality. I want to be very intentional about sharing the things that I have learned in life, lessons that I've learned, mistakes that I've made, good times that I've had, and bad times that I've had. I want those years. I want them to be years spent downloading information to everybody that I can. I want to become a network connector. Like, I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of people, and I want to be able to connect people that I've met to other people. I want to continue building a lasting legacy, not just for my family, but just for others that, um, you know, 100 years from now, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. Maybe they will find my podcast and use it as an example to build on for their own podcast. I don't know if they'll be doing podcasts in 100 years. Who knows? But I want to leave a path of footprints for others to study and follow. So, having the audacity to age is first recognizing your age. Ooh, let me say that again. Having the audacity to age is first recognizing your age. How old are you? Like, is the way you act a representative of how old you are? Okay, I'm not gonna get in y'all business like that. But a question you might ask yourself is, am I still doing the same thing, acting the same way I did in my 20s? What about my 30s? What about my 40s? For myself, what about my 50s? Am I still doing the same thing, acting the same way in each decade of my life? Like I said, I'm getting ready to turn 60. I hope I'm not acting like I was in my 20s. In my 30s, it was all about corporate America and climbing the corporate ladder. In my 50s, that was not my prime priority. So every decade of our life should reflect growth. I don't think y'all heard me. Every decade of your life should reflect growth. Have you grown? At least in the last decade. Have you grown in the last decade? Think about it. And so, as I was writing the blog for this week, I'm thinking I have discovered something famous. I wrote in the blog, your respect quotient should increase to a wisdom level where others respect you and come to you for guidance. Now, I just wrote that sentence out of the blue as I'm putting together my blog that goes along with the podcast. And I thought, respect quotient. Hmm, is that something new? Have I uh, thought of that word? So of course I went to Google to see if somebody else had come up with this term, respect quotient. And of course they have. So I didn't discover anything new. But the article was really good. It said boost your respect quotient by dropping these 11 habits. It said first, if you want people to respect you, if you want to increase your respect quotient as you age, you need to stop doing these things. First, being arrogant and overly proud. People respect those who are humble and down to earth. So if you are still walking around arrogant and overly proud, of which we probably did in our 20s and 30s, if you are 50 and 60, you probably need to drop that habit. It's okay to be confident and sure of yourself in Christ. But if individuals are looking for someone to respect and someone to follow, someone to mentor them, let's not be walking around being too overly proud and arrogant. Secondly, ignoring or dismissing others' feelings. You need to drop that habit. It is not all about you, especially in your 40s, 50s, and above. We should have learned by now that it is not all about us and that we have to pay attention to the feelings of others because people's feelings matter. Number three, being manipulative or using people. Are you still doing that? Are you still trying to use people to get ahead? Most people, especially this younger generation, they know they can spot it head on when they are when someone is being manipulative and using people. We ought to be over that. At our old age, we should be over that. We should be honest and upfront. That's what attracts people to you. Number four, not taking responsibility for your actions. In our 20s, maybe 30s, we didn't want to take responsibility for our actions. But, as we age, we ought to be able to own up to our mistakes. When we mess up, when we say something wrong, we ought to be able to say, you know what, that's on me. That's on me. That's all my fault. And learn from that because younger people can learn from others when they own up when they own up to their actions. Number five, being negative and complaining all the time. Nobody wants to hang around a complainer. Nobody wants to hang around someone that's being negative. The younger generation is looking for positive influence. They don't want to sit at the feet of a 60, 70, 80-year-old that's complaining about how bad life has treated them. They're not looking for that. Number six, being late or unreliable. If you are still being late and unreliable, I mean, that's something we should learn at an early age. But as I approach 60, really as I approach 50s, even in my 40s, being late and unreliable it was a standard for me. I never wanted to be late. I always wanted people to know that they could count on me. So if you're still being late and unreliable, you need to drop that. You need to drop that. We have generations that are coming behind us. And this is for whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50. There are generations behind us that are going to need our guidance. They're going to be looking at us. Even if they don't say anything, they're going to be looking at our actions. So be reliable. Talking about yourself all the time. As I said earlier, it's not all about you. Nobody comes to someone for mentoring if all that person does is talk about themselves. Now, it's good to talk about your experiences, things that you've learned, but it's not all about you. I can't tell you how important that is. Interrupting others. I'm going to be honest. Even at my age, ooh, it's hard for me, especially when someone is saying something and I know that it's wrong or I have a different opinion. I tend to interrupt. I'm like, no, no. And I am learning not to be interrupted, especially with the young ladies that I'm mentoring. I make it my intention to sit and listen to what they're saying and not interrupt. It's more like speak when you're spoken to. Otherwise, sit quietly. And I'm a talker, and sometimes that's hard for me. But it says, when you interrupt others, you are showing them that you don't respect their time or their thoughts. Ooh, that really pierced the heart. Let others finish speaking before you interrupt. I'm learning to do that. Be patient and listen attentively. Okay. Bragging and boasting. Nobody's looking for a mentor that brags and boasts. People respect those who are modest and don't need to brag about their accomplishments. There is a time and place to talk about your accomplishments. I had lunch with a young lady the other day, and I waited for her to say, Miss Mary, when you started your business, or Miss Mary, when you were in management, how did you do that? That's the time where I can talk about accomplishments and things that I've done, but not just starting out, not right out the gate. Let's not do that. 10, being gossipy or spreading rumors. Nobody is looking for a mentor that is gossipy unless they're a gossiping person themselves. We don't want to be around people like that. We want to teach the younger generation to respect the actions of others. Let's not talk about it. Let's not spread rumors. Nobody's looking for someone that is gossipy and spreading rumors to increase their respect quotient. That's what these things are. And then the last one, not following through on your commitments. Man, that's a big one for me. If I tell you I'm going to do something, rest assured I'm going to do it. You will never, no one will ever say to me, remember when you said you were going to? No, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. There, the other day, my mom had called and asked me to bring her something from the store, and I went immediately and purchased it, put it in the trunk of my car. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to prepare beforehand, if I can, to do what that person has asked me to do. So these are 11 things that you, or 11 habits that you need to drop in order to increase your respect quotient. Your respect quotient should increase to a wisdom level where others respect you and come to you for guidance. Now, while there is no set age limit for mankind, there are a few verses that have been referenced concerning how long we will live. And we know back in the Old Testament days, people lived well over 100. They lived hundreds of years. But as the years passed, the age when individuals died got shorter and shorter. Two verses I want to mention. First, in Genesis 6:3, there is a reference to 120 years as being the age limit, but that is not necessarily what that verse is referencing. And then also in Psalms 90:10, it references individuals living 70 to 80 years. While the scriptures don't give you a factual date of, okay, when you turn 80 you're going to die, no, you will not find verses related to our age limit. But what is clear today and what we know for a fact, number one, is that people die at any age. People die at any age. And it doesn't matter how healthy you are or how sick you are, death is sure to come no matter the age. The goal is, and what's important to have the audacity to age, is that you fulfill your purpose, your mission that you were put here on earth to do. Every day that you wake up, you should increase your respect quotient, because you never know who God is going to bring by your path, and you will be able to pour into that person. So, this is my Mary moment. Lord, help me to make a positive difference in the lives of others as I age gracefully. As I age gracefully. So, this is my replay for this week. I was listening to some worship music last week by Maverick City and Refiner by Chandler Moore. Now, this is what's interesting. Refiner is the title of the song. Of course, I was saying the title of the song is Tried by Fire, but that is just the verse of this song. But it says, if the altar is where you meet us, take me there, take me there. What you need is just an offering. I'm right here. My life is here. And I'll be a living sacrifice for you. You're a fire, the refiner. I want to be consumed. I want to be tried by fire. I'm asking God to continue to refine me so that I can be a blessing to others. The audacity, the nerve, the audacity to age. Y'all have a good week.